Well, let's jump into the actual investigation that is ongoing and the updates regarding Charlie Kirk's assassination. This came out on Saturday. The FBI director, Kash Patel, released the following tweet. Could you pull up the tweet to Kash Patel, and I'll read this? We are meticulously investigating theories and questions, including the location from where the shot was taken, the possibility of accomplices, the text message confession and related conversations, Discord chats, the angle of the shot and bullet impact, how the weapon was transported, hand gestures observed as potential signals near Charlie at the time of his assassination, and visitors to the alleged shooter's residence in the hours and days leading up to September 10th, 2025. Some details are known today, while others are still being pursued to ensure every possibility is considered. Our primary focus is to complete the investigation and deliver justice. To protect the integrity of the investigation and subsequent prosecution, we cannot release every piece of information we have to the public right now. We will ensure every question is answered at the appropriate moment. Regarding specific details such as questions about the plane that allegedly turned off its transponder after departing from an airport near the assassination site, we can share updates. We can share updates when answers are confirmed. After interviews with the pilot and consultation with the FAA, we determined the transponder was not turned off. Incomplete flight data in rural areas caused the apparent gap. So that is from Kash Patel's Saturday before Sunday's celebration. They are continuing to investigate the alleged involvement of other people in Charlie Kirk's assassination. The FBI faced criticism after a 33-hour search mistakenly detained two innocent people, one of which was
I would hardly call George Zinn innocent in this process.
No, he got arrested and he
stood up and said, I shot him, shoot me.
Kill me.
And then during the investigation, they found child porn on his phone. So not an innocent guy.
How do they, but hold on quickly, how do they do that? How do they get access to your phone? So if you remember, who did we have? It was Tommy Robinson. I know it's a different country, but the United Kingdom doesn't really have many freedoms, it seems like today.
Not at all.
You're getting arrested for social media posts. There was a report. Did you guys see the video of the two police officers going to the person's house for reading a social media post? It turns out yeah, I don't know how real that is, though.
No, it's real. I looked at it. It's real.
But you see that in foreign countries, Tommy Robinson, they tried to confiscate his phone when they were trying to arrest him, and he said, no, you can't have access to my phone, because if you have access to my phone, then you have access to all my contacts. How did they get access to this guy's phone? If they arrest him, they bring him in, they start questioning him. He's not guilty of anything right now. How do they get access to his phone to find that there's child pornography hidden on that device? And then who's walking around with child porn on their cell phones? You perverts. I got to think that they would be having that on some type of computer hidden in another location.
No,
you're not just walking around at Starbucks scoping child porn.
Well, Jake knows this. If you're a demon, you have it. You don't give a shit. You're just like, whatever. It's going to be on my phone. They don't. By the way.
But how do they gain access to that?
Rob, they could easily grab your phone. Let me explain something.
But there's also probable cause. I believe he disclosed that it was on there prior to them.
So they pulled him in. They're like, why did you say I did it? And he said, I wanted to distract from the shooter. By the way, I got child porn on my phone.
Essentially.
That's a weird.
He was being detained, according to some of what we've learned so far. He was being detained and questioned about why he was causing this distraction. He said that he wanted to help the shooter get away. He wanted to be a distraction. And then,
if you believe
as part of the investigation, he was being detained but not officially charged with anything. And they were asking if they could look at his phone. And he kept saying, no. And apparently someone asked him, like, why are you so resistant to us looking at your phone? And he said, because I got child porn on there.
Get out of here.
Come on. This is the same
fact.
But this is the same thing they did to Stephen Paddock's brother. I'm not saying that George Zinn is innocent or he's guilty. I don't know.
He is involved in my eyes.
And that's according to Vinny, that he is allegedly involved.
That's my opinion. That guy, there's no fucking way.
But when Stephen Paddock's brother came out and started questioning the narrative regarding, if you don't know who Stephen Paddock is, he's the alleged shooter of one of the worst mass shootings in United States history.
MGM.
The Las Vegas Route 91 Harvest Music Festival shooting. Like 400 people were injured, 60 plus killed. We never talk about it for some weird reason. Today, there are reports at MBS, Mohammed bin Salman, or however you put it. Yeah, Salam
We need to do a
alaikum.
deep dive on that.
Yes, he was involved. It's actually coming up. The shooting is October 1st. We should probably do an episode dedicated
3
just to that
hours
shooting.
long.
But when you look at that, the first thing Stephen Paddock's brother came out and started saying was, this doesn't make any sense. My brother wasn't really a violent person. He had a lot of things going his way. He was making a ton of money gambling. There's a whole bunch of money laundering stuff. But the first thing that the government did is they investigated Stephen Paddock's brother for child porn, then arrested him on it, and then released him without an investigation. It's crazy that that's the go-to thing. And George Zinn just is being questioned. All of a sudden he goes, hey, I've got child porn that I've hidden on my phone.
Report. This is from the New York Post. He was quickly taken into custody at Utah Valley University, with that detention paving the way for the child porn charges. The alleged senior citizen sicko was initially hauled off to campus police headquarters, where he refused to cooperate, but was soon taken to the hospital for a medical problem. He fessed up to not being the shooter there, and investigators successfully requested if they could take a look at his phone. As he handed it over, Zinn admitted to state and federal agents that he used the electronic device to check out inappropriate images of children, the sheriff's office said.
Let me. Can we,
Come on.
guys, can we say one thing? Like, think about this: an assassination attempt happens. That guy's job was to cause a distraction, because the moment it happened, I remember us being backstage and I go, hey, they got him. They got him. They got him. Nobody even paid attention to everything else. Cameras were grabbed.
SD cards were taken out.
SD cards were grabbed. Somebody on the roof, which we never, by the way, they never rewinded it. You just see the guy running. How about show us 10 seconds before? I want to see him getting up. It boggles me that in 2025, nothing is clear. Everything is blurry. Nothing adds up. And for instance, and just let me add this. Are we supposed to, Kash Patel, just because a Republican, Trump, whatever the hell you want to call him, is telling me that I have to believe the narrative? Let me explain something to you. I don't, all right? Because in my opinion, they already lied and tried to cover up this Epstein shit, okay? Lied, blatant lies about this and that, and Epstein killed himself. How are you supposed to trust him now? How am I supposed to take your word? By the way, same FBI, same people that are still in the FBI were around during Hillary, they were around during Bush, they were around during Clinton. I don't trust any institution. It's period, especially them.
When you say that, there was a part of me where if you would have asked me 7 months ago, if I'm sitting at a memorial service and Dan Bongino walks in and Kash Patel walk in, I would have been excited. Hey, these are guys that I admire, I respect. Yeah. They're going to bring justice and transparency to the American public. I watched them walk in, and there was a part of me that was like,
good. You dropped the ball. You dropped the ball.
Okay, but I gotta ask this, and Humberto, I think it's where you're going to. Kash Patel just said, we're looking at accomplices. We're looking at all the stuff on Discord. We're looking at the angle of the shot. We're looking at allegations that it didn't come from the shooter. We looked at the weird thing with the plane. We have an answer. So if you don't trust that Kash Patel is telling you the truth, then are you saying they aren't investigating that, or that you won't trust the answers they give you?
No, but I'm saying if you've already lied to me about Epstein, which, by the way, they gave us a doctored video that they blatantly, somebody edited it. Hold on. Number one. Number two, all the other stuff. He killed himself. Bullshit. No, he didn't. So it's like, so here's the thing. If you're going to lie to me about the R word with children and Epstein, how am I going to believe you on this guy? Don't get me wrong. They're probably investigating. I'm not saying that they're not investigating, but you've lost your credibility. You have lost your credibility for me now to be like, oh, they got it. No,
at this point, trust has to be earned, not given. Go ahead, Humberto.
Look, I mean,
how do you trust them, Humberto?
No. The thing is, and if I can be, I sit here and I can give them advice on this thing. Yeah. The way communications work in this day and age is different, all right? I think they haven't done the best job that they could do on communications on every subject, all right? Yeah. Some things they need to put a lid on them for a little bit until they get confirmed facts. Some things they can release. Some things, the thing is that now, before, when we go to, in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, when something like this happened, any information that was official source of information, that's all the information you got, all right? Now you have more information outside of the information that the FBI or the CIA will give you. So you have a big, a fire hose of information.
Yeah, with social media and phones and this. And
so
that.
Now the burden of proof is flipped. All right, is on them to put together a story that makes sense, that is bulletproof, that go all right. So because if they keep on drip feeding us information, these things are bound to happen. And even though this is going to be very unpopular, I don't see any malice on Kash Patel, and I don't see any malice on Dan Bongino. I see, I won't say incompetence, but I think they should, and if they want to fly me in to DC, like, I can fix this for them. But but the thing is it's just like the way you present information, because now the FBI and the CIA, they have to have like proof for everything. Every angle needs to be covered. Every T needs to be crossed. You know what I mean? So it's a different. It's a lot to do with like how information flows in this day and age.
And we saw Pam Bondi come out at the same time and talk about how they're going to use the death of Charlie Kirk to pass hate speech laws targeting groups like no one wants hate speech laws. That's terrible.
They need to fix their comms.
But
how long until Trump admits that Pam Bondi is a mistake?
He already did. Remember
Not really.
that True Social post that he put out and then immediately deleted?
No, it's still up.
It's still up?
Yes. So that's the weirdest part. There were reports. Trump called out Pam Bondi and said she needed to act against some of the political enemies that he has today. There were reports that he deleted that post. In fact, I believe it was either the New York Post or the Daily Mail reported that the post was deleted. I went on True Social and found the post. It's still up. So for me, I'm like, at what point she flip-flopped back and forth on the Epstein stuff? The only reason Pam Bondi came forward with anything regarding Jeffrey Epstein being caught on tape with underage kids was because of James O'Keefe and the O'Keefe Media Group's investigation, getting somebody from the White House to admit on camera, getting her actually to admit on camera that she had thousands of hours. And then the next day she comes out to the American public and announces, when it comes to the videotape of Epstein's jail cell, it automatically re-records over the 12 o'clock minute every time. Then all of a sudden the tape comes out and they have the time. At this point, Pam Bondi is what is ruining the credibility of the FBI, Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, and ultimately Donald Trump. She is a liability, and if this administration ever wants to earn the trust back of the American public, fire Pam Bondi. It's very simple.
Easy.
It's one thing. That's all we want at this point.
Rob, good point. He fires people. He's fired people throughout his administration, the last administration. It's like, and is it just weird that the Epstein stuff didn't come out? And I know you were saying, like, do you trust them when it came to the Epstein thing? All of them. Meaning, it's captured all of them. So guess what? And Pam Bondi is connected. She was the freaking
Attorney General of the state of Florida.
Bro, these are coincidences. They're dots that need to be connected. I don't trust him. I don't trust, when it comes to that type of stuff, which is the most important to me, I don't trust any of them, Humberto. So when it comes to this, how are you, bro, if you have stolen from Rob, and I caught you stealing from Rob.
Yeah.
Okay? You
son of a bitch.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
You stole it from Rob, but now you're like, hey, trust me with this. I didn't steal this one. No, guess what? Already at face value, Humberto, I don't trust you. Even though you've healed, you've come back to it, there's still a little bit of you that I don't trust.
I agree, but I think this is 70% of not getting with the times and having a competent communication strategy, and then fumbles, I think, is 30%. You know what I mean, Vinny?
Yeah.
It's mostly the way they're presenting things and the timing they're presenting things, and they don't understand that they need to present the whole truth once it's sealed and locked. Because you have a bunch of people on the internet that will find another angle of the camera, that will find another recording.
All right, so speaking of that, let's go ahead and take a look. So this is part of the weird hand movements. Now, the guy behind him, that's Frank Turek. He was speaking at Charlie Kirk's memorial. He actually helped rush Charlie Kirk's body to the hospital, trying to save his life. So they've identified the guy in the white shirt, but there are other hand gestures. But this is that are now being investigated by the FBI.
We're not going to see the...
No, we're not going to see the shooting, right? But look, I don't know who that guy is. I don't like. It looked like he just signaled to slide into third base. What is he, a third base umpire coach? Like, there are weird hand signals. You see the guy cheering in front. He then goes and does media reports, and he says, well, I could tell it was a chaotic scene, so I was trying to act as a distraction for the shooter. That doesn't make sense. There's multiple people that look like feds. You know what's really interesting? When we were walking into Charlie Kirk's memorial, we walked past a group of Secret Service members. You know what the Secret Service members look like? Every single member that I've ever seen get out of a U-Haul at some type of protest, it looked exactly like it.
Patriot Front.
I went,
Rob
is that the guys from the U-Haul
from
Patriot Front? It absolutely is. The people that you see making these weird hand gestures, part of them look like they're part of the Fed. So the government is investigating some of those weird hand signals. They're also investigating, if you could show real quick the text messages with the tranny lover. I'm sorry. Well, yes, I guess that's what he is, right? He's a tranny lover, allegedly. An alleged tranny lover.
A tranny lover who had a tranny lover.
Oh, so the tranny was cheating on Tyler Robinson with another tranny?
Tyler Robinson loved trannies. The lover was
transgendered. Okay, so, and in a furry sex, right? Yes. That's the reports. Yeah. Which, if you don't know what that is, that's when people dress up in costumes and then they make love. Weird. I can't get my wife to do it without the costume. Can you imagine if I got her to do it with that?
Put on this elephant outfit.
When you read these messages, it turns out that the shooter was hoping to go back to retrieve his gun, and then Candace Owens was doing more deep dives into this shooting, and she showed photos of the alleged shooter, Tyler Robinson, at a Dairy Queen. Now you gotta reportedly an hour or two after the assassination, you gotta think if you have just committed the biggest political assassination execution since the 60s here in the United States, the last thing you're thinking is, you know what I really need? A Blizzard.
Yeah.
Nobody's like, oh, you know what? That really made me hungry. I want a Butterfinger Blizzard.
Yeah.
No, you're trying to get the hell out of town.
Serve it to me upside down, and or I'll shoot you in the throat.
So when you talk about George Zinn acting that way, and then you see that the shooter was talking about trying to go back and retrieve his rifle because he left it at the scene and his dad's going to be mad. And then people are running these text messages. We did it on PBD Podcast through ChatGPT to see if they're authentic in every single search engine. They can never agree on anything. Any of the AI softwares always give you differing opinions on things except for this. Yeah. Every single AI that I ran it through, Grok, ChatGPT, even Google's, all came back with it's a script. So the guy in there is talking about trying to go back and get the rifle. You mentioned George Zinn acting as a distraction. It seems like there are other people at play here besides this lone wolf shooter theory that we're currently being given by the federal government.
Rob, great point. It's never a lone wolf. There's always people pushing him. There's always people helping. By the way, do you know how many cars were driving up to Tyler Robinson's house the week prior? That's multiple cars with different license plates. Nobody knew who they were. And when you bring up stuff like MK Ultra, brainwashing, all that stuff, go read a book. Go read Chaos. Go read what the MK Ultra. Go read what the CIA did from the 50s to the 70s. And now we're in 2025. It's not that hard. Hell, there's a drug in Colombia called scopolamine. It's called the devil's breath. All you got to do is go in the person's face, and they lose all free will. They'll do anything that you tell them to do, guys. I'm not even joking. It's on Vice. If you haven't seen it, it's called the devil's breath, scopolamine. Bro, people that'll go, they'll kill, and then you wake up and you're like, I don't know, like a normal person. I don't know what I did. It happens, bro. I don't trust any of these things.
What I'm afraid now, and I see your guys' point.
Yeah.
And I think it's very possible. But when are we going to get to the bottom of anything, Vinny?
Never. What do you mean? You're never
It's just so frustrating. Okay. There is always a new angle. There is always a new this, a new that. You know what I mean?
I think
since Lincoln, we haven't gotten something straight.
So you're ready?
What are we talking about?
Exactly. So here's the thing, which we have to at least call it out. I think calling out is number one. But Humberto, if we're real, if you're a legitimate practicing Christian, it's not even our job. You could ask the questions. The only judge is going to be God. That's the only comfort I get because we never get it here. But you're never going to get 9/11. Bro, 9/11 was
Can you explain to me, like, is this an American phenomenon? Like, when the assassination happened in Colombia, they caught the guy. Everything made sense. You know, he went to jail. Like, whenever I see assassinations anywhere else, they get answers. Like, what's going on here?
There are certain things. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's because we have, especially in the modern era, videos of everything constantly. We had people having in-depth, deep dive discussions about how Israel was 100% responsible for killing Charlie Kirk before Charlie was even confirmed dead. Like, the discussion started the second the bullet left the barrel of the gun, because that old expression, as it goes, a lie can travel around the world twice before the truth can put on its shoes. It's insane for people to try to make the argument that Israel killed Charlie Kirk. Like, I'm sorry. I know a bunch of our audience will disagree with me on that. There is no evidence. There is no evidence that Bibi Netanyahu ordered a hit on Charlie Kirk. To get there, you have to overlook mountains of evidence that show radical left-wing Antifa transgender militants that conduct trainings like this specifically to do this kind of thing. This is what they have been building for years. It's all right there. So, of course, now we're in a situation where we don't trust Kash Patel. We think he's bad at his job. We don't trust Pam Bondi. We think she's incompetent. So if they come out and say, yeah, we found proof there was an elaborate network of people online who planned this, they're all left-wing transgender activists who wanted Charlie dead because he didn't support their ideology. If they come out and say that and present all the proof, the next day we're going to be on this podcast saying, yeah, they're lying to us. Who are they trying to frame for this? And we're losing our minds because we can't process these things normally because of the institutional credibility that has been destroyed by incompetent people.
Yes, by Pam Bondi. It goes back to Pam Bondi because that wasn't the case when the first Epstein files leak came out. Not the leak, but release. When they took all of the influencers and brought them to the White House and got binders, we were celebrating. We're like, we're getting transparency. This is what we were promised. This is what we voted for.
Then a day later when they told us, oh, there's actually nothing in these binders we haven't seen before.
Yes, they ruined their own credibility. And at this point, I don't know if they can get it back. I think we have to switch topics because we are at, yes,
Is
go
it
ahead.
what I'm saying? Comms, communications.
They don't
right?
It's
comms,
but it's all
100%.
running-
Don't do it.
yeah,
Just shut up.
But they're doing it on purpose. But they're doing it on purpose. Umberto, that's why nothing ever gets down to the actual answer. They have everybody running around and grasping
they're
at
in
shit.
such
But
a
we
big
do that
pickle,
to
they wouldn't
ourselves,
do this
too.
to themselves.
So if you like this clip, click right here. And if you want to see more like it, click right here. Stay angry, Patriots.